Welcome to Ghosts of the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds is an area of outstanding natural beauty in the south of England, in the United Kingdom. Famous for its gentle rolling hills, picturesque villages and market towns, and many of England's greatest stately homes and manor houses. But it is also home to some of the most haunted places in England. Millions of people from all over the world visit the Cotswolds to soak in the gorgeous honey-toned limestone buildings from a bygone age. But there is much more to the Cotswolds than genteel landscapes and beautiful buildings. As we will discover in this series, this region is home to an unusually high volume of paranormal activity. Much of it may look like something from a fairy tale, but we're here to share stories from the darker side of the Cotswolds. The area is abound with ghostly tales we will explore, from apparitions of kings and noble lords, all the way through to the terror of murderous butlers and headless horsemen. The time has come for you to journey with us to explore ghosts of the Cotswolds. Just outside the Regency town of Cheltenham, where the hills of Gloucestershire rise gently to the west, lies a village whose name means little to most. And yet, in the world of the paranormal, Prestbury is legendary. With fewer than 7,000 residents, Prestbury may seem like any other English village. Neat gardens, narrow lanes, and houses that wear their centuries lightly. But behind its lace curtains and dry stone walls lurk stories whispered from generation to generation, tales so persistent, so eerily consistent, that even skeptics have taken note. It is here that ghostly monks still tread sacred paths, phantom horsemen thunder through empty streets, and the footsteps of the long dead echo on moonlit lanes. This is no tale of fiction. These are real sightings, real accounts, real hauntings, documented across centuries. Come with us now as we return to a place where history does not lie quietly. Welcome to Prestbury. Our first story surrounds the legend of the Black Abbot of Prestbury. St. Mary's Church has stood at the heart of Prestbury for nearly 900 years. Beneath its yew trees, older still, generations have worshipped, wed, and been laid to rest. But it is no ordinary churchyard, for among the graves walks a figure seen by priests, parishioners, and passers-by alike, a figure known only as the Black Abbot. Described in detail by multiple witnesses over the last century, the abbot is tall and silent, clad in a long black robe with a hood that hides his face. He does not drift like a typical apparition. He walks, purposeful and slow, tracing a path through the churchyard, often toward the porch, where he disappears just before reaching the ancient oak doors. It's said his appearance coincides with high religious festivals, especially Easter and Christmas. Theories abound. Was he a prior whose soul was denied burial within the hallowed nave, or a penitent spirit still trying to fulfill a holy obligation? One vicar in the 1950s described seeing the figure pass directly in front of him and hearing no footsteps on the gravel path. Whatever his origin, the Black Abbot has become one of Prestbury's most enduring legends, a solitary sentinel of the sacred dead. Next is the legend of the charging horseman of the Burgage. Prestbury is not only haunted by monks, some ghosts arrive at a gallop. Down the Burgage, a narrow street lined with historic homes, comes a sound that chills even longtime residents, the deafening phantom thunder of horses' hooves. Eyewitnesses describe it the same way, a sudden pressure in the air, then the unmistakable sound of a galloping horse. In some cases, a dark figure appears, riding low, dressed in cavalier garb, only to vanish at full speed into solid walls or hedges. Local lore claims this is the ghost of a Royalist soldier cut down during the English Civil War. Some say he was delivering a message between Royalist garrisons and never completed his ride. Others believe he was ambushed just outside the village, and so he rides still, each Eastertide, returning to complete a journey long since lost to history. Even in daylight, the clatter of invisible hooves has been heard, and those who've felt them say the ground seems to tremble underfoot, though not a leaf stirs. One account from the 1970s speaks of a child who saw the rider gallop through a garden wall. and watched as his horse left no mark on the wet grass. The charging horseman isn't the only fabled messenger from Prestbury. There is also an apparition known as the Messenger of Mill Street. Some Prestbury ghosts arrive with less drama, but no less mystery. Residents along Mill Street have spoken of a man seen walking briskly, head slightly bowed, as if carrying a message. He wears a simple tunic and short cloak, and he's often glimpsed only from the corner of the eye. Never aggressive, he simply passes by, always in motion, heading nowhere that exists anymore. Theories suggest he may have been a 15th century steward or a royal courier long since dead, but somehow bound to his route. Several accounts describe him passing through locked gates and fences, as if the very layout of the village has changed around him. But his task remains. One modern sighting placed him near a lamppost, where he paused, looked confused, and disappeared. The Cotswolds seems to have many a female ghost of grey form. Prestbury is not to be outdone, and has the legend of the Grey Woman of Shaw Green. Not all ghosts in Prestbury are wandering monks or soldiers. In a weather-worn cottage near Shaw Green, residents once reported a presence that felt maternal, yet grief-stricken. This became known as the Grey Woman. According to oral tradition, the cottage stood during one of the worst outbreaks of plague. A herbalist, sometimes called a wise woman, lived there and attempted to treat the sick. But when villagers died, despite her remedies, suspicion turned to blame. Folk whispered of witchcraft, and she vanished from the records soon after. Today, visitors speak of a soft weeping heard late at night, a grey, cloaked figure glimpsed in doorways or mirrors, and the overwhelming scent of lavender and thyme, herbs once used in plague medicine. Is she a spirit seeking absolution, or simply a woman of knowledge punished by fear? In either case, her quiet presence lingers still. Our final tale comes from an old burial ground, where we encounter the cemetery walker. Along the edge of the village, beyond the newer housing estates, lies Prestbury's older burial ground, now mostly forgotten by time, but not by everyone. Several locals, including a postman, a nurse, and 2 teenage boys in separate decades, reported seeing the same figure walking between the stones in the early morning fog. A man in a 19th century overcoat stooped slightly, walking the length of the cemetery before vanishing near a fallen gravestone. Always the same route, always the same time of day, just after dawn. One theory holds that he may have been a grave digger or a mourner who returned often in life and continues to do so in death. In 1987, a groundskeeper reported hearing muttered prayer and found the air suddenly freezing cold, though it was a warm September morning. No one was there, whether guardian, penitent, or simply lost. The cemetery walker is another quiet reminder that Prestbury's dead are not always at rest. Prestbury is more than a village. It is a tapestry of memory, a place where time weaves strange patterns, and some threads are never cut. Its ghosts do not scream or wail or torment. They walk, they ride, they wait. Here the past breathes softly, and sometimes it breathes beside you. Join us next time as we journey deeper into the haunted heart of the Cotswolds, where shadows hold secrets and legends walk by night. This is Ghosts of the Cotswolds. Please subscribe to this channel to be alerted to the next episode of Ghosts of the Cotswolds.